2016 was a really good year for video games. Shame about everything else. I actually had a hard time narrowing down my list to 10 games this year, whereas in 2015 I struggled to think of 10 great games for that year. The rules for this list are my usual for Game of the Year. Limited to games I've played this year, so sorry if I've missed your pick. No remasters, and obviously they had to have been released this year. The list isn't in any particular order besides the top 3, so let's get in there balls deep.
Number 10, F1 2016. Yeah, I told you in the review this will be in my Game of the Year. I'm not even into F1 and this game was still massively enjoyable. I'm sure if you're an F1 fan you already have this, since there isn't much choice. But to everyone else, it has an immersive, feature-rich career mode that really sucks you into the sport. It's also very accommodating. The difficulty customization options help you get to grips with everything, no matter what your skill level is. You can tweak it to be just right for you. There's a nice amount of tracks which you really have to learn to put in a good performance, and even though all F1 cars look the same, they do handle quite differently depending on their setup. I imagine the most important part of a driving game is to get the core driving right, and F1 nails that thanks to tight, responsive and genuinely intense driving. Have a crack if you're curious, you won't be disappointed. Number 9, World of Final Fantasy. How did this get less favourable reviews than Final Fantasy 15? How? Final Fantasy's attempts at real-time battle systems have always been dog shit, so in comes World of Final Fantasy like, right, let me sort this shit out and take us back to turn-based. Turns out that was a smashing idea. It has the traditional turn-based battles with the monster collection mechanic of Pokemon, the two things that hit me right in the addiction. Most of the depth comes from the stacking mechanic, where you place different creatures in your stack, letting your main character gain all their strengths and weaknesses and abilities. All sorts of combinations can be used, and you'll spend a lot of time tuning your two main characters to suit your current situation. It looks absolutely spectacular, I think, as well. There's a real nice style to it, and if you're into Final Fantasy, there's plenty of fan service you'll appreciate. Not the porny underage girl kind though, thankfully. Number 8, No Man's Sky. Yes, Sean Murray lied. Stuff he promised wasn't actually in the game at launch, but people should know better by now. I know that's no excuse for the lies, and I know I made a video when I hit that glitch and got angry, but I've been playing No Man's Sky pretty consistently since it came out. It's a very nice, relaxing game to play, and it really immersed me into the role of an explorer. The most recent update added a lot of cool stuff I wanted as well, like base building and freighters. The lore of the galaxy could be expanded a bit more, and some of the resource requirements for some of your kit seems unnecessary, like the launch thrusters. Other than that though, I really liked it. I think the main reason I liked it is the uniqueness of it. On consoles, can you think of anything quite like it? Besides Elite Dangerous, also a great game, not really. I think a lot of people playing this got overwhelmed by the freedom it offered and would rather say they got bored than admit they couldn't create their own objectives to work towards. If you haven't played it, for God's sake, have a go and make your own mind up. Don't let all the hate from cocks who haven't played it cloud your judgment. It's easy to pick up and enjoy, and has some really good fucking ideas in it, which is more than I can say for most games. Number 7, Battlefield 1. The game isn't going to be in my Game of the Year or anything like that, but it is enjoyable.
You talk an incredible amount of bollocks, don't you?
Yep, I lied. After reviewing Battlefield 1, I played it some more, and then some more, and then more. And more. Whilst the World War I setting doesn't really feel like World War I, it did what I like from team-based multiplayer games, and that is actually rewarding you for being a team player, as well as not putting a massive emphasis on your KD ratio in objective-based game modes. And you know what that encourages, dear viewer? People actually playing for the objective and working together, creating a much better experience. It lives up to its name as well. It feels like a battlefield because of the game's great visual and sound design. The maps are vast with lots of interesting locales to fight in. The weapons will feel meaty as well as handling great. Customization is a bit poo, and there still needs to be a limit on how many people can play as the same class because there is still a massive sniper problem. And it's a shame it has a season pass really, especially when games are giving out maps and content for free, such as Number 6, Overwatch. Overwatch did exactly what I liked in Battlefield 1, rewarding you for team and objective play. It's accommodating to people who don't necessarily want to run in guns blazing killing everyone. The maps are smartly designed, all the characters have their strengths and weaknesses and play styles. It looks amazing thanks to vibrant colours. Remember when games had colour? New content is also added frequently with new characters, maps and modes. The loot boxes seem a bit manipulative, but the precedent Overwatch has set for multiplayer shooters where it makes the objective important and kill death ratio not so is something I have always wanted, and I hope it continues in the future. Number 5, Forza Horizon 3. Another racing game. Horizon 3 is the racing game I would recommend to people who want to give the genre a go. Just like F1, it lets you customize the difficulty however you want. It has some absolutely amazing course designs that take you through some stunning locales as well as testing your driving skill. There's over 300 cars to collect, just let that sink in, an absolutely huge open world to drive through, a massive variety of challenges and multiplayer, though the balance is a bit shocking. It's just a solidly put together game. It looks great, it controls great, it feels great, and it also runs great. Number 4, Steep. This is why I leave Game of the Year a bit late. A lot of lists seem to forget about Games of December. I just picked up Steep on a price drop and it's fantastic. None of the sports are overly complicated. Most of the depth comes from the outstanding courses the team have created, especially some of the wingsuit ones. It's a good sign when an extreme sports game makes you pull faces and go, oh shit, 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 when you narrowly miss a rock or cliff face. Exploring the huge map is an absolute joy. If you want to teleport from one side of the mountain to another, there's no loading screen, it's pretty much instant. As an extreme sports playground, Steep does exactly what it sets out to do. For those of you who like freedom in games, Steep is one worth checking out. Number 3, Overcooked. Local co-op is mostly dead. Publishers would rather you buy an extra copy for you to play online with mates rather than you all share the same copy. No, that's 3 copies not sold and we can't let that happen, can we? Then these beauties at Team 17 and Ghost Town Games give us Overcooked, a pure couch co-op experience. It's a simple game at first glance. Use the control stick to move, one button to pick stuff up and another to interact with objects. But as you progress, the recipes you learn and the levels become increasingly complex, making for a challenging yet hilarious game, especially when it all goes tits up. People communicating with each other is paramount, and it's so satisfying when you pull off a perfect dinner service like a well-oiled machine. You'll probably end up murdering at least one of your friends you play with who aren't pulling their weight though, so be warned. Number 2, Doom. If you want a game to blow off steam, you can't do better than Doom. It has a lot of old school design sensibilities, but that's what makes it feel fresh. Big levels, amazing movement and shooting mechanics, fluid animations, all combined into a game that just feels so smooth to play. The Snap Map mode has also added loads of interesting maps for you to play through to keep your inner serial killer at bay. The soundtrack is also pure perfection. There is absolutely nothing more fitting for the absolute testicle destroying aggression that Doom lets out. Number 1, Stardew Valley. I'm a big fan of farming life sim games like this and Harvest Moon because I'm a sad wank like that, and Stardew Valley is more or less a best of compilation of all those types of games. There's absolutely tons to do, but Stardew never puts the pressure on you to do stuff. You're not going to get game overed because you didn't give some twat a potato. So it's another relaxing game you can take at your own pace, though that can be a problem because once you start Stardew Valley, you won't stop. You'll go downstairs one day, not realising how much time has gone by, turn on the TV, and the BBC will be broadcasting a missing persons report on you.